was thinking that these athletes are just stupid. And then I figured out, no, they're speaking in their own self-interest, like the overwhelming majority of human beings do. They're talking about what's good for them. And so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has bought totally into the globalist agenda and that's being promoted by the left and progressives, and he is selling that at every turn. If they tell you to put a mask on when you sleep at night, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be on TV promoting that. If they tell you to take 12 booster shots, all in your penis, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will go on TV and pull his penis out and take the shot.
Also, if you're making $1 million in Russia or any other foreign country, I would suggest to her, Brittney, there's no need to play in the WNBA. What's it really doing for you? Sure, there might be some marketing and branding reasons why she has to, but if you're getting paid that little in your view, you have a choice in this capitalist society to quit the job. I mean, Jason, we've had other jobs, and maybe there are times when you've had several gigs. The ones that don't pay well, though, that you're not getting fulfilled for, you're allowed to quit. And lastly, about her trying to, I don't want to say smuggle, but take that hashish back out of the country. Yeah, that is a form of Russian roulette. And unfortunately, she came up on the wrong chamber. And she has to understand one thing. What's legal here may not be legal there. And so she'll have to deal with those consequences.
A lot of times, I let it slide, but it's now time to put a stop to that and put it on notice. Like, there's a difference, and we need to make sure that it's understood. And every time I do hear it now, I will make sure that I address it and make sure that I nip that in the butt.
This man just used his children as a shield. I'm playing terribly. I'm making $44 million. The Lakers are 8 games under 500. I'm getting blamed. And I'm going to use my wife and children as a shield to stop the criticism. Westbrook. The Denver Broncos trade for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is leaving Seattle and headed to the Denver Broncos. I'm going to ask your reaction so I can think about my own reaction. I'm stunned and amazed that Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson would walk away from each other. Your reaction?
I didn't think it would happen. I thought it was a lot of noise and really nothing, because I felt like who was going to play quarterback for Seattle? Pete's 70 years old. Pete had a meeting with Jody Allen, the owner of the team, took over for her brother, Paul Allen. And I didn't suspect that they would be able to make a move because, now look, they gave away 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams, which was a ridiculous trade to begin with. But that being said, their assets were very low. And I think maybe the ownership group, along with Pete, felt like the only chip they had to play to get assets back was Russell.
She says, the only thing I need now is a man. It's like, yo, it's like, who wants you? Who wants you? You're right. Like, once you have achieved these things, you have unfortunately disqualified yourself.
To sit up here and say that black are black men turning against black women, hell no. Black women been turning their back on black men for 50 years. And I know this for a fact because my mama left my daddy when I was 10. I'm about to turn 60, so that's about 50 years. You know, black women been doing this forever of just going off, leaving me. And then now we have people that are bringing it to light. You got Kevin Samuels. You got Tommy Sotomayor. And if I may just add another name, you got Jason Whitlock. I mean, because
you put me in the same category as Tommy Sotomayor and Kevin Samuels?
If I may, do you not set up here in serious business? Do you not preach that we need to step up and stand up against the matriarchy? We need to step up and start being men and stop this stupidness that we've been doing?
A member of the table from the Houston Rockets, he's a good friend of mine, I've known for 25 years. He put it the best way. He said, Kenny, I'm not working either. He called me up to say he saw our interview and he thought it was wonderful. He said, unbelievable. I'm so proud of you for speaking up for people that like me that don't have the platform. And he said, the NBA came to me after he's been there 30 years too, and he says, the NBA wanted all of us on the table and all the employees within the arena. They mandated that all of us take the vaccine to protect the commodity, the NBA player. But they didn't find it necessary to mandate that the players not take the vaccine to protect me. So he said, I walked away. I did the same thing you did. I don't think that's fair. So he put it better than even I've been able to put it. Let's everybody take the vaccine to protect the commodity. And I'm not saying that that's, hey, players of the league, they're important. Don't get me. But then we aren't going to mandate them to protect the people on the table. You watch Michael. Everybody thinks Michael's going to the basket. But they only need two. Everybody thinks Michael's going to the basket. And I believe so did Brian Russell think he was going to the basket. So he's going, and he's got him beat. I mean, he's not beat, but he's got him by a half a step. So Russell turns slightly. He turns because he's got to get there. He's got to get to beat, and we're watching him. And then Michael stops. Well, it's all like all the step back moves they're doing today. They get the guy going, they step back, and the guy, I mean, they make fun of some of these great athletes that are trying to play defense on these great offensive players. You couldn't guard this guy either. Some of the moves that Harden or LeBron or Curry, all these guys that are doing now, I mean, it's amazing. And the step back, well, never once have I heard anybody say, well, you know, he pushed him in the rear end.
Revelations chapter 19 happens like this. John spends half the chapter describing both sides. He talks about the beast coming, and he talks about Jesus coming in on a white horse. It's almost like fight night. You know, you look in this corner, you see all of these lining up, and you see all of this. So you've got half the chapter building up, and then in one verse he says, but the enemy was defeated. Like, wait, what? We didn't get to see blow for blow. We didn't get to see, you took all that time, and what John is saying is that he's that much more powerful than anything that we can imagine. And that's who is our king. So however you interpret the text, we should leave with this hopefulness that King Jesus is who's leading the charge, and that's who is my king and your king.
Whoever has the title of head of diversity, inclusion, and equity, he or she is really Steven from Django. He or she, his job or her job is to advise their white boss on what the Negroes in the field might be thinking or doing, or the other Negroes in the big house, what they might be thinking or doing, and here's how to keep them calm. That's their job. Whoever at your company has that title, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. My job is to report to Mr. White Folks and tell him how to stay out of troubles. And they sitting in Mr. White Folks' office right now. We sick, boss? You needs me to rub your feet? That's who the diversity, inclusion, and equity person is at your job and at your university. I'm gonna disagree with both of you. I have sympathy for Brittney Griner. I think that any woman on the planet who grows up to be 6'9", I think that's a hard life to hoe. I think that is just extremely difficult. That, again, because it's outside her control. If she were fat like me, that's something she could control. Eat less.
Let me do the music for you. While Jim is doing that, play your violin. Dun, 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 dun. That's the Monsters song.
Jim, I know you're short, but damn, man. The only thing that could justify his paranoia about somebody Jeff Epstein is it Jeff Epstein? Jeff Epstein. Worry about Jeff Epstein is if the power structure, if the Democratic elites talked him in to pulling this race hate hoax. Now, if he's afraid that he may squeal and tell who put him up to doing this dumb stuff, and that they may seek revenge on him to shut him up, he makes a tiny bit of sense. A tiny bit. That, when I watched him and, I'm suicidal, I'm blah, blah, blah. The first time I heard him, I thought he was being defiant towards the judge. I thought he was trying to say, you ain't hurt me. I can do these 150 standing on my head. I ain't suicidal. I'm built for this. That's what I thought.
What ends up happening is that the body politic is continuing to get sicker and sicker, right? We have this chronic disease, and the people we look to for healing can't provide it. And I think you see that, and Jussie Smollett is just one example of that. But the media is complicit, academia is complicit, punditry, social media, athletes, entertainers, they do this all the time. They totally ignore working class black folks who are the overwhelming victims of homicide and violent crime in city after city. And they step over their bloody bodies to go and find a Jacob Blake or a George Floyd or someone else who gets into a jam, right? Fighting police or resisting arrest or something of that nature. And then they put all of their moral weight behind those people and leave all the other victims to fend for themselves.
So I came across this new website for plus-sized women, and I want to ask Uncle Jimmy, is there a new woman in town? Do you agree with what's now being pushed as a positive body size? Take a look at this picture.
Whoa.
Ooh. They made skinny jeans for eggs, I see, huh?
See? Wow.
Hey, this, I mean, that looks like, you know what that looks like? That looks like a white wine glass.
Now, if you hold on. Now, since you're going to crack jokes, you know what it really looked like?
What?
You remember Alice in Wonderland?
Alice in Wonderland. No.
That looked like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Look right there. Except in this case, look like Tweedledee done ate Tweedledum. Come on, man.